The M4, this is DOL, help. The M4 Sherman tank was a winner by numbers, not by quality. When the U.S. entered World War II, it did not have a modern tank. Even the latest existing designs were obsolete compared to the modern German tanks. A new medium tank design was quickly developed. Since it was technically simple and very reliable, a decision was made to immediately start mass producing it in enormous numbers. The M26 Pershing heavy tank was slowly developed and reached the battlefields just before the end of the war in 1945. As a vehicle, the M4 Sherman was very reliable, and as such, it was superior to the German tanks. As a tank, the M4 Sherman had several problems, especially when compared to its enemies, the German tanks. The Sherman tank was simply inferior to German in most aspects. It had a relatively thin armor and inferior. Should that be and?
No.
Okay, so an inferior 75 millimeters or 76 millimeter gun, which simply could not penetrate the front armor of the German Tiger tanks. The German Tiger tanks could easily destroy the Sherman from long ranges. Also, the Sherman was very tall, almost 3.5 meters. So, the differences between the Tiger tank and the Sherman tank is that the Sherman tank has a thinner armor, and the Tiger tank has a thicker armor, and the Tiger tank has longer gun than the Sherman tank. So this is why it's.
Why is there a torpedo in a ship then?
There's a torpedo in a ship. Let's go back here. A torpedo in a ship because this is in the book The K. It's during World War II, and there are submarines trying to attack this one island. So the submarine. So, haha. So, this is a picture of most of the world, and this circle we're going to zoom into. And this blue circle has Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, which are all near Venezuela, well, north of Venezuela. So what's happening in this picture is that oil comes from the.
Somebody tell her what lake is that?
It comes from Lake Maracaibo, and they bring it up to Curacao and Bonaire and Aruba because that's where they need the oil in order to fuel their tanks and planes. Oops. Went too far.
Why explain why gasoline was important?
So Germany went behind through the Netherlands and Belgium to get to France. Germany did this because they wanted to avoid the machine gun-like things planted in the ground on the border of France and Germany, like the picture above. But there weren't any along the border of Belgium because they were their friends. But Germans said no. We will go behind them and take over their countries in our way. I am. So there are the things.
Okay, what's that?
So this is the island of Curacao. And it shows all the stuff that's in Curacao. And that's where Philip in the book The K lives. So this is what the Germans did to the boats that had the oil in them, which made them explode into big fire bombs. So
This is a good one.
the gasoline from Curacao goes from Venezuela, and Curacao was important for World War II because it delivered gas and oil to fuel the tanks and planes all the way over to England. So you have planes and a jeep and a tank. That's the end. Bye.